Ever wonder why some managers are better than others, and some managers can inspire people to do so many things, and other managers, teams aren't so good? You ever work for a manager that inspired you to become a better engineer, a better designer, or just all-around better person? Or have you worked for managers that did totally the opposite, had no encouragement for you, no excitement to work? He came to work every day grumpy and he really didn't want to be there? I don't know. I like an inspiring leader, and I'm sure that you also would like to have an inspiring leader. Even as a project engineer, as a project manager, you want to inspire, but how do you do that? How do you excite people to do more than just come to work every day? I mean, is there some special trick to that? Maybe there is. In this video, we're going to talk about just that, how to inspire others on your engineering team to be better. Okay, you've got this engineering team. You're the project engineer of the team, or maybe you're now the newest project manager at your company, and you got several teams underneath you, several project engineers, and you're pretty excited, and this is something very new and challenging to you. And first thing that comes to mind is how do you inspire the team members? How do you get them fired up to want to do more for you, to want to do that job faster than normal and get it out the door so you can do more projects and hence make more money on the team, and also probably give more bonuses at the end of the year just because you have a fired up, inspired team? Well, academia would tell you that you can't really motivate anybody. If they want to do the job, they'll do it great. If they don't want to do it or just want to get by, they just won't. They'll just do whatever they have to get by to the end of the day. Well, that's true and not true. There are certain ways to inspire people to do better and give you more than what they normally would for some other manager or some other team leader or a project engineer or another project manager, engineering manager. But they'll work for you extra hard because you can inspire them. And there's certain ways that you can do this. Let's talk about a few ways to begin with. Over the years, I have noticed as a project engineer and a project manager and eventually a business owner that people will do more for you if they understand the big picture. If they understand how their job, their role, their task, how that fits into the overall picture of the company, how they are impacting the company, whatever position they hold, each person has an impact to how the business is ran. And if you take the time to explain that there's such thing as a budget and that people can't just milk these jobs out, but they have to get to the end so that we can take on more jobs, and the more jobs that we have, the more profit we have at the end of the day, which means at the end of the year or maybe even halfway through the year, I can then give out bonuses, additional recognition, maybe even job promotions, hiring additional people to come into the team so we can do even more jobs, but not necessarily more, but more unique jobs, more jobs that will challenge them simply by them doing just a little bit more so that we can move forward. Something else that you can think about how to inspire other people is to actually give them a chance to make a few decisions. Often as engineers, we find ourselves as pretty smart, and we kind of can solve any problem, and we don't really necessarily need anybody else to help us solve our problems. All we need is the data in order to plug into our equations and our designs to come up with a solution. But that's fine. But the people on your team are involved in creating that final plan, that final design. You want them to be involved also in that decision making. Even though you may know pretty much where you want to go, by involving them, you allow them to grow. You allow them to learn how to do it themselves. You don't have to always handle the menial, the smaller designs, the designs you have done over and over again. You can let that to some of the other people on your team that may have never done those type of designs before, but it's easy enough for them. It's just at that verge, just outside their comfort zone, that'll give them a challenge. That's why you want to delegate some of that responsibility down to team members and let them make those decisions for you. If they make the wrong decision, you can always come in and say, well, that was good, but this is probably a better way to move forward. Next time, don't do that, okay? We learned from it this time. Next time, we'll do it the right way. I know you've gotten value out of this video. Go ahead down below there and hit that like button. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think. How does your manager inspire you? Do you inspire your team? Let us know. How do you go about doing that? Everybody wants to know new ideas and exciting ideas of how to inspire their team to do more. Some of the other things you can do, even as a project engineer, you're the leader of the team, but within the team, you can assign people to say, I would like for you to lead on this project. I'd like for you to design this, and you can work alongside me. If you have any questions or anything, just go ahead and come to me, and I'll give you some help. But overall, I'd like to see you lead this team on this particular design. Well, what is that doing? That gives them a chance to grow even more. Let them learn to lead the team. These are the people that maybe in the future will replace you in your job, and you can move up to a higher position in the company or in another company. Without doubt, some people just have a little bit of a problem working in the workplace, and sometimes they get off on the wrong track. Maybe they take a 45-minute break when it should only be 15 minutes. That needs to be corrected pretty early on. Maybe they take an hour and a half for lunch when it's only an hour for lunch. That needs to be addressed pretty quickly. You don't have to do it out in front of everybody else, but you can ask them to come back to your office and explain to them what they have done, how they have impacted the team. Say, by you staying that extra 30 minutes after lunch there, well, that's 30 minutes of work that didn't get done today. And our team is now behind. Every time you're not here for 30 minutes, that adds up. 2 days, that's an hour. 4 days, 2 hours. For long, you got a whole day of work missed just because you're taking that little bit of extra time. Do you think the team is really happy about that? What do you think? From now on, you're going to come to work, back to work from lunch on time? So that's why you need to address those little issues that people sometimes fall into and get them back online quickly, so that way it doesn't impact the team. If you let it go on too long, it will impact the team and bring down their motivation. As in the military, we used to call that esprit de corps. And so you don't want that to happen. You always want people to kind of follow along. Do what I do. I come to work before 8 o'clock in the morning. I spend less than an hour for lunch, and I stay and I work all the way past 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I expect no less of the people on my team. That's the importance of addressing those little issues that people may have every once in a while. Get them back online. Every job that comes into the design team doesn't have to go to the same people every time. If you got multiple people in your team, even if you have 2 people on your team, you don't always want to give the new work to the same person all the time. I want you to do this grading plan. I want you to do this code. I want you to do this wall design. The same person over and over. The other person is at the same position. He goes like, well, what's going on here? Why don't I get some new jobs? That lowers his or her motivation. You're not inspiring them. You're not challenging them. You want to spread that load around. Here, you have this job this time. Next time we're going to give it over here. Anybody has a problem with the design or how to do it, come to me and we'll work out the problem. And we'll keep on going forward. That way, everybody grows on the team. The team becomes stronger together. They become inspired together. That's what your job is as a leader, is to inspire them to do more than what they normally do. The next thing you want to do as a team leader, whether you're a project engineer, project manager, engineer manager, department head, what have you, you want to keep constantly informing the entire team of what's going on in the business. Are we doing well? Are we not doing so well this quarter? Are we doing better than expected this quarter? Is the job opportunities looking great in the future? Is promotions coming pretty soon? Are we going to be taking on a new major job that's coming in that will affect everybody in the company? Are we doing a shift to a new market possibly? Are we looking at a different type of service that we can provide to our clients? All this information you want to keep flowing to your team to make sure they know that the company is growing, it is expanding, is taking on new and exciting jobs, something different. And that keeps them wanting to stay there at work. They want to do their best so they can get involved with that new project or that new design, that new team is coming up, that new market that you're going into. All that's inspiring to your team, and they want to know they're belonging to a very progressive, growing company. That's inspiring for any team. For me, I always thought I never did like much about getting an award or anything like that. But over the years that I've been working, I can tell you, just getting a little piece of paper and it says, "You've done a great job. I appreciate what you're doing," or a little pat on the back, say, "Hey, man, you did an awesome job the other day on getting that out the door." That goes a long way. Yeah, at first you're kind of like, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. You've done it in front of everybody. But inside, it felt pretty good. Now, I've also worked for leaders that they never acknowledge anything I did. It was always, nobody on the team never got acknowledged for anything they did. So you felt like you just came to work every day, did your job. There's no appreciation. You're expected to do it. I'm giving you a paycheck every 2 weeks, so why should I even give you a pat on the back? How do you feel when that happens? It doesn't feel so well. And eventually you get kind of discouraged and your motivation goes down. But that manager that's always coming up to you all the time, and every time you do something kind of cool or different or kind of solve a problem a little different way but quicker, and say, "Hey man, that was awesome," that feels good. And it kind of inspires you to want to do a little bit more and keep looking for an opportunity for greatness again. So that's always important as a leader. Again, hey, if you're a project engineer, a project manager, department head, whatever, always call out to people that have done something different and something challenging or does something that deserves recognition. And you should always do that. I have found also over the years that most of the software that we work with as engineers, including Microsoft, including our word processing software and our spreadsheets, even recently the going on the net, now the cloud version of everything, technology is constantly changing. Even in surveying, the equipment we use. When I first started in surveying many years ago, there was 5 people to a team. 5. Okay? And I worked my way all the way up to party chief. Started at the bottom, all the way to party chief. And in that time, 5 became 3. It didn't need as many people. That's when we came out with EDMs, distance measuring, electronic distance measuring. Eventually, we got to total stations. But today, a survey team can be one person with a GPS unit. And he can go out and survey a whole site. He can go out and stake it and everything. Just one person. And so it's come a long ways. But in order to stay up with that technology, you got to be constantly trained. Every time something comes out to us, we have to learn how to do it. Even CAD, AutoCAD, when I first started in AutoCAD, it was way back yonder. It was barely beyond drawing squares and circles and lines. AutoCAD was pretty simple back then. And in fact, you could draw the drawing yourself faster than you could in the CAD machines. But later, CAD's gotten better and better and better. And today, we work on 365 Autodesk with Civil 3D. And the things you can do in AutoCAD today, you could only imagine doing by hand. It's an impressive piece of software, but it takes a lot of practice. And it takes a lot of training in order to use it efficiently and be able to work with it quickly. So you always want to train your people. You're the manager. You're the leader. It's your responsibility to train them. They leave it to them to expect that they will go out and on their after hours and train themselves. The gung-ho ones will. They will do it. But some of the other ones, they're not going to do that. They're going to expect the company to teach them. And so always try to keep your team as current with the technology as possible, because technology is there to help us, and it makes us do our work faster, and we can do more jobs because of it. So use the technology, but train your people to use it. Another way to train people and inspire them to do things and get them excited to go out there and do that work, and even though it's a difficult job and probably hurts the head a lot, is to explain why we need to do this job. You know, some jobs, they get pretty routine. You do enough land development, I tell you, residential, single lot residential designs, it gets kind of routine after a while. It's the same thing over and over again. Different size lots, different size house. But overall, the method that we use, the process, is pretty much the same. So at repetition, it gets kind of dull after a while. So you need to understand why we do those. In my company, we do them for one reason, because they're bread and butter. It's the little jobs. We can get them done within a couple weeks, and they're out the door, and we get paid. And so that's why we do these little jobs all the time. But the big jobs, everybody wants the big jobs because they're long-term, and it gets a lot of people doing different things, different exciting parts of that project. The little jobs, everybody kind of doesn't like doing them. Doing a plot plan is simple, little 4 size to a lot. There's a street out front and their house in the middle, and put some dimensions to all the lot lines. And you do that 150 times on one single development. That gets monotonous. But there's a why to that. Those little jobs is our bread and butter in my company. So that's something as a leader you need to always explain to your team members why we do this, the why. Another thing, if you want to inspire your team, respect their time. Their time is just as precious to them as it is to you. When you get into a design and you're thinking of it deep in thought all the time and trying to figure out how to get a problem solved as you're moving through it, it can take hours to work through that problem. Whether it be data that you're doing in a software code, or if it's a mechanical design, a plumbing design, any type of design that you do, sometimes you are so deep in thought that your mind just focuses on it. And then you as a leader comes up and say, hey, I need you right now. Get on over here. I need to talk to you right now. I have a problem. Okay, what have you done? Well, first of all, that person, he's working hard on a particular project, and you take his attention away from that. He has to drop that attention. He has to regain his thoughts and come over to you, listen to whatever you have that you want solved. Or I can get to that maybe later today, but not right now because I'm working on this design problem. You say, okay, as long as you can get to it, let's say by the end of the day, I'm happy with that. And they say, great. They go back to their desk. They sit down and look at their design. Where did I leave off at? Okay, it's going to take them a while to get back to that same point where you interrupted them. They got to then come up with that mindset again, get back into thought, and then try to pursue on to solve the problem. And then they can fulfill their commitment to you to solve the problem that you had in that little quick meeting. You're not respecting their time by doing that. You want to, if you call somebody and you say, hey, I need you over here, maybe first says, hey, do you have a few minutes? Can I talk to you for a few minutes, or later today would be better for you? And he says, well, right now I'm in a real deep thought on a design. Can I meet with you later today to say around 4 o'clock? He said, that'd be fine. I got an opening at 4 o'clock. Come on over then. You're respecting their time. You would expect that of them if they ask you, hey, I need to talk to you, Mr. Project Engineer. You have a few minutes. You say, well, I got a meeting coming up right now. The meeting should be over with in about 30 minutes later. I'll see you after that meeting. Is that fine? They'll go like, yes. They respected your time. You should do the same and respect their time. So all that is is building that excitement within a company, that they know that you respect them as much as they respect you. That's building that motivation and inspiring people, because you're leading by example by respecting their time. And just like anything else in self-development and your professional development, you should make sure that you self-assess yourself all the time. Are you inspiring that team? Are you encouraging them to do better? Are they showing results of what you're doing? If they're not showing improved results, then maybe you need to change a few more things. Always look at how you can do better. Inspiring that team. Come in every day on time, on work. Come in happy, excited to meet the new day. Say, this is awesome. Today we're going to be working on this and that. And by the end of the day, we should be done with it, and we can move on to the next project tomorrow. It's being excited, constantly inspiring that team, that they're just as they get excitement is contagious. It always is. And if you come in dull and depressed, oh, I had a rough night last night. Wife is not doing good. Children are yelling at me all the time. I don't like it. And now I got to come to this place and work here all day, and I can't wait to the end of the day so I can get to the weekend. Well, that doesn't inspire anybody. It doesn't excite them. As a leader, you're not allowed to have those moments. With the team members and the staff that you have, no matter how high up you are as in the management, you are there to inspire them. You are there to lead them every day. So if you're not doing that, you're not doing your job as a manager, a leader within your engineering firm, inspiring others to do better. I know you've gotten value out of this video. I hope it was very encouraging and exciting, because this is the way I do every day in my work. It's always looking at the bright side of things. Sometimes I get a little discouraged, but I'm always trying to be positive and upbeat all the time. I know you've gotten value out of this video. Go ahead down below there and hit that like button. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think. How does your manager inspire you? Do you inspire your team? Let us know. How do you go about doing that? Everybody wants to know new ideas and exciting ideas of how to inspire their team to do more. So do you feel like you can be an inspiring leader now? Someone that can encourage their team to be better than what they are. That they're going to follow you. And unlike all the other managers and leaders in your corporation, you're the one that has a team that's go-getters, motivated, and they want to do all the work they can do because they have a leader. So don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And also take a look at the side there. You'll see a new video that we recommend you take a look at. In that video is going to be more information about how to be a very successful engineering leader. You want to see it. So until next time, keep on growing. Keep on being better at what you do as an engineer. As a manager, learn to be the best you can be as a leader, manager in your company. We'll see you on the next video.